Welcome children. Today we will learn interchange of active and passive voice. A transitive verb has two voices, the active voice and the passive voice. The voice of a verb shows whether the subject is the doer of the action or the subject is the receiver of the action. A verb is said to be in the active voice when the person or thing denoted by the subject acts or is active. A verb is said to be in the passive voice when the person or thing denoted by the subject does not act but suffers the action done by something or by someone. An intransitive verb may be used in the passive voice if it takes a cognate object in the active. Let's see the uses of passive voice. Though the active voice is more forceful and direct, the passive voice is used in the following conditions. Number 1, when we do not want to mention the doer of the action. Example, she was found cheating. Number 2, when we do not know who is the doer of the action. Example, my pocket has been picked. Number 3, when we want to emphasize the recipient of the action. Example, the king was cheered by the people. Now we'll see how we can change the voice of a verb. We can change a sentence from active voice to passive voice by making the following changes. Firstly, the object in the active voice is made the subject in the passive voice. Once again, the object in the active voice is made the subject in the passive voice. Secondly, the subject in the active voice is made the object in the passive voice. Thirdly, the passive form of the verb is made by adding its past participle to some form of be, be. I'll start with simple present tense. The formation of passive voice will be like this. Subject plus is or am or are plus past participle form of the verb. Example, he feeds the parrot. In this sentence, he is the subject, feed is the verb, the parrot is the object. So, the subject will become the object and the object will become the subject. So, the object here is the parrot. So, we'll start with the parrot. The parrot is fed by him. The parrot is fed by him. One more sentence. Children like sweets. In this sentence, subject is children, verb is like, sweets is the object. So, the object will become the subject. So, start with sweets. Sweets are liked by children. Sweets are liked by children. Present continuous tense. The formation of passive voice will be subject plus is or are or am being plus past participle form of the verb. Subject plus is or are or am being plus past participle form of the verb. Example, Sheila is singing a song. Sheila is the subject, singing is the verb, and the song is the object. So the object will become subject. A song is being sung by Sheila. Whenever a continuous tense is there, always you have to remember that you have to use being, B-E-I-N-G. One more example. Children are reading books. Children the subject here. Read is the verb and books the object. So we'll start with books. Books are being read by children. Books are being read by children. Present perfect tense. Formation of passive voice will be subject plus has for have been plus past participle form of the verb. Subject plus has for have been plus past participle form of the verb. Example, he has eaten a cake. He is the subject, a cake is the object, and eat is the verb. A cake has been eaten by him. One more example. They have done all the assignments. We'll have to start with the object. All the assignments have been done by them. All the assignments have been done by them. Simple past tense. The formation of a passive voice will be subject plus was or were plus past participle form of the verb. Example, I wrote a poem. I is the subject, the poem is the object, and wrote is the verb here. So we'll change into passive like this. A poem was written by me. A poem was written by me. One more example. The master appointed him monitor. He was appointed monitor by the master. He was appointed monitor by the master. Past continuous tense. The formation of passive voice will be was or were being plus past participle form of the verb. Continuous tense, always I told you being should be used. Was or were being plus past participle form of the verb. A mad dog was chasing Anu. Anu was being chased by a mad dog. Anu was being chased by a mad dog. One more example. The police were taking the robbers to prison. How can you change it? The object is the robbers, so it will become the subject. The robbers were being taken to prison by the police. The robbers were being taken to prison by the police. Past perfect tense. The formation of a passive voice will be subject plus had been plus past participle form of the verb. The hunter had killed a lion. A lion is the object, so it will become the subject in passive voice. A lion had been killed by the hunter. A lion had been killed by the hunter. One more example. The enemy had defeated our friends. The enemy had defeated our friends. So our friend is the object and the enemy is the subject. So we have to change it. Our friends had been defeated by the enemy. Our friends had been defeated by the enemy. Simple future tense. The formation of passive voice will be subject plus will or shall be plus past participle form of the verb. Example, she will cook dinner. She is the subject, will cook is the verb, and dinner is the object. Dinner will be cooked by her. One more example, the teacher will forgive them. The teacher will forgive them. They will be forgiven by the teacher. They will be forgiven by the teacher. Now future perfect tense. Formation subject plus will or shall have been plus past participle form of the verb. Subject plus will or shall have been plus past participle form of the verb. My mother will have forgiven me. My mother is the subject and me is the object. I will have been forgiven by my mother. I will have been forgiven by my mother. Next one. You will have heard this news already. This news is the object and the subject you. This news will have been heard by you already. This news will have been heard by you already. When a transitive verb has two objects in the active voice, either the direct or the indirect object may become the subject in the passive voice. Example, I gave Anita a pen. A pen was given to Anita by me. Or Anita was given a pen by me. Both are correct. When the verb in the active voice is a prepositional verb, the preposition is not dropped in the passive voice. Once again, when the verb in the active voice is a prepositional verb, the preposition is not dropped in the passive voice. Example, the boys laughed at the beggar. The passive voice of the sentence is the beggar was laughed at by the boys. Laughed at by the boys. If the sentence in active voice is an interrogative sentence, its passive voice also must be an interrogative sentence. If the sentence in active voice is an interrogative sentence, its passive voice also must be an interrogative sentence. It should be question. Who taught her French? Answer is, by whom was she taught French? By whom was she taught French? When the sentence in the active voice is an imperative sentence, command or request or something, let be is used in the passive form of the sentence if the sentence has to remain imperative. Otherwise, should be can be used. Once again, I am telling, when the sentence in the active voice is an imperative sentence, let be is used in the passive form of the sentence if the sentence has to remain imperative. Otherwise, should be also can be used. Shut the door. Example. Let the door be shut. It will be in imperative form. Or the door should be shut. If we follow the above rules reverse, we can change the passive voice sentences into active voice. Okay, children.